What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. Today I have two guests, not one, but two guests on the show. We have Phil of Filthy Finds and Brent of Loose Change Apparel, and they came together to create Gastown Vintage.
Yes, sir.
What's up, boys?
Everybody?
Good day.
Yeah, beautiful day in Vancouver.
We are here in the shop in Gastown. Beautiful shop. Looks great.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
How's it been going so far?
It's been good, man. We've been hustling, changed our hours this week. We were running like 7 days a week, and then, we're just finding we need some more time to pick, and just we both got family, so it makes more sense to run it Thursday to Sunday. So, yeah, we'll be here.
So you slowed it down.
Yeah, a little bit.
See, that's the bonus of being your own boss. You can just make it up as you go.
Absolutely.
That's fucking rad. So, what you're like 2 months in now? 3 months?
Oh no, about a month and a half full time. We did a soft opening at the end of summer. Did the Granville Flea and then opened full time about September 15th.
Yeah, it was like the 14th or 15th because it was the week after the Flea, I think. Yeah, I think it was September 14th.
Yeah, we're less than 2 months in.
Nice. Still super fresh in the honeymoon period.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I'm proud of you guys. The store looks really great. You guys have unique stock. You probably have one of the better stocks in Vancouver, and I hope you keep it up because I feel like a lot of people come out strong when they open shops, and then they end up like getting jaded and switch it up, you know? So keep it going.
Thank you. Well, it's funny that you say that because, I mean, the reason we came together and decided to go in on a shop together was to create something that Vancouver hadn't seen yet.
Yeah.
These shops are popping up left and right, you know, as far as vintage or thrift type stores. I don't feel like that there's a store that you can come in and, 90% of the pieces are...
Definitely not. No, you guys cornered that market.
Yeah, man, because we just don't want people to come in here and then feel like that they can just go to Value Village down the street and buy the same shit.
Isn't that the worst comment when someone comes into a vintage store?
The worst, bro.
Let's go find this at the thrift store.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And to be honest, man, I at the last spot I'd have, I would think to myself like, why would I bring that piece into this when they could go down the street and do that? Especially with the explosion of thrift shopping now. It's not just vintage heads anymore. It's everybody in their
totally.
mom.
So let's talk about that. So you had Loose Change Apparel before this shop.
Correct.
And you were closed for like what, 6 months before this opened?
No, probably about 3.
Okay.
3 months.
You were a gold mine of cheap prices.
Oh, man, there was some Grail salt and peppered in there.
It was. And you know what? I was thinking about this last night coming here. I'm like, shit, I should have went and shopped at your store way more than I did. I probably only went like 5 times.
And not even. And you know what's funny is when you I remember the first time you came in. And the one piece I remember that you grabbed off me, and I think you got it for like 15, like $20, was the Batman Jim Carrey Riddler. Do you remember that one?
Oh yeah.
I've
seen that pop up recently on.
Yeah. So did I. That's what made me think about it because I love that tee. And I think you got it for like $20 or whatnot.
For sure.
Hey,
mind you, the value then was probably less than it is now because that was still like 2-3 years ago at this point.
Absolutely.
But yeah, definitely a steal.
Yeah, no, there was plenty of steals, and the fact was there wasn't a lot of vintage guys coming to the shop then. It was mostly your just average Joes walking in and copying some vintage gear. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times I would hear in the store, "This is my first vintage piece."
Yeah.
You know? So I think we were for the more regular Joe at that shop. This we kind of fine-tuned everything, and this does cater to more of the vintage head, the collector, that person that wants that one fire piece.
Yeah, no, it's really cool, and I think you're the only store that you got to ring a doorbell.
Yeah, man.
And you're in the neighborhood where you should be having to ring a doorbell.
I was just about to say it's half.
It's the hood.
It's cool. It's cool. People feel it's a VIP experience. At the same time, if you come down to the neighborhood, you'll understand a little better why we've got the ringer on the door.
Totally. But it creates that level of exclusivity. It's like if you put something behind glass, it instantly raises the value.
100%.
If you put your whole store behind a doorbell, it instantly raises the whole value.
Yeah,
It almost creates a shock value,
it took a
too.
$16 doorbell from Amazon
Yeah,
to just boom.
Because you would never expect it when you walk off the street and you come in here for like the first time. You would never expect this.
No, totally. Totally. And yeah, you got a big sign, so it's not like you're like hidden away. Like you got the sign.
No.
But you still got to ring the doorbell. No, that's cool. So just a little more history about Loose Change. Like, tell us, like, previous to opening that store, like, how did you get into thrifting or get into vintage in the beginning?
I was into shoes. Shoes was the first thing. I'm a big Nike guy. Air Maxes were my thing. So I'd start hitting the thrift stores just trying to find old shoes.
Were you finding a lot here in Van?
I wouldn't say a lot, but enough to keep me happy. It was definitely just a hobby at that point.
Yeah.
So it was nothing to do with money. It was just interest, keep me...
You can hear the sirens. It's reminiscent of
Daily
this,
drama.
this
We should start a series, man.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just hitting thrift stores, a lot of Craigslist stuff, things of that nature. And then it got into more of the gear. For me, I'm 36, so I grew up in the 90s.
Yeah, man, you and me are close in age.
Yeah, we're closer to 40 than we are 30.
Yeah.
I like to say. So it's huge for nostalgia with me. Like that's what drives me, is a piece of clothing that gives you a feeling. I couldn't care less on the hype on a piece or what's popular at this point. It's what the feeling it gives you when you get it in your hands. So I started, and it wasn't even so much the thrifts. I was doing more of like the Craigslist stuff, just looking online, trying to find bundles, trying to find that sort of stuff. Ended up going to a couple pop-ups, which are quite rare in Vancouver. At least 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, they were quite rare. Really, the only store that I would go to is your store here and then, and it was mostly to grab my snapbacks.
Nice,
Mr. Snapback. But I saw a couple start popping up. I think the first pop-up I went to was What's Good had a pop-up.
Yeah, that's out in Surrey. That's like a suburb of Vancouver.
They're in New West.
Oh, yeah, New West, sorry.
They're in New West.
Again, a suburb. It's like,
yeah,
what, 25 minutes outside
25
the
minutes
city?
outside of Van. So I went and checked out, and they just had a bunch of cool pieces. I ended up grabbing a bunch of it. And
So he was open before you, or?
Yeah, he's been doing his thing for a while.
Yeah, I got a few pieces from him. I got a sick Beastie Boys like coach's
I know
jacket.
that piece. That's really good.
License to
Yeah.
Ill. I got from him. I might have got a couple other things. We did a trade. I've only been in there a couple times, but
They're top-notch guys. They're cool, and you know what?
super
They're
nice.
young too. I got well over 10 years on them, and just to see these cats like put together this little function and sell this sort of stuff, I was just like, instead of constantly just buying for myself, I could look for myself and then flip what I'm not keeping.
yeah.
So it started at that. I was working a management job in a warehouse at the time. Hated my life. Just woke up every day.
Fuck the man.
Fuck
Yeah,
the man. Woke up every day just dreading going to work and stuff. And it finally hit a point where I had my Jerry Maguire moment. Walked in there and just flipped out. Fuck this place. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Did you
fuck
actually?
Yeah.
Nice.
Had good benefits there, so it took a little bit of.
Was it like was there a moment that like tipped it, or were you like, I'm going in today and I'm telling him to fuck off?
It had been building up. It was just a lot of stress. I was under a lot of stress. I was just feeling depressed.
Yeah.
Wifey could see that I wasn't happy. I kind of had the conversation with her, like, look, this could be coming to an end sooner than later. And one day I just pulled the trigger, had good benefits, went on stress leave, took my time. And when I went on stress leave, I needed something to focus on and something that made me happy. And that's when I got into thrifting. And when I say I got into thrifting, I went 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, every week, nonstop.
Damn.
And the funny
It's dedication.
thing is, yeah,
You get to know those sorting ladies by name at that
Oh,
point.
They just have
absolutely.
their ex waiting for you.
yeah. And the funny thing is like out of my group of friends, which is a fairly small circle nowadays, as you get older, the circle gets smaller and tighter. I didn't hang out with any vintage heads whatsoever. I didn't know any.
Well, even back then, like you would have seen a lot less like thrift kids, as we call it, like who
at
were
the-
actually
at the-
hunting.
at the thrift.
Yeah.
I'd walk out with a cart filled.
Yeah.
Every single day. It was nuts.
Yeah, the competition lately has gotten so steep. Like I remember going to Richmond Thrift just because I had some time to kill, which I never have time to kill.
The
Like,
Anarchist Island one?
No.
Oh.
But now I'm gonna go there. But no, the Richmond one that's like
Richmond Center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like off number 3 road, whatever. That one's good because there's always designer stuff there because Richmond's got money, right?
Absolutely. Richmond's got a lot of bootleg too.
I'm in the thrift, and then like 2 hours later, someone DMs me. They're like, "I saw you in the thrift." I'm like, "Why didn't you just like come say hi or something?" It's so random. You're like DMing me that you saw me in the thrift, like. But like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I would have never bumped into anybody looking for the same shit in the thrift in Vancouver.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's exploded here to the point where I don't thrift anymore. At least not to actually get merch. I go thrifting just for relaxation and enjoyment. I never walk in.
I've never heard anyone say that, so that's
really
pretty cool.
Well, that's why I did it in the first place, was to get out of that feelings I was in with the whole workload and all of that sort of stuff. That was
it's like you're on your own schedule. You can come and go as you please.
Yeah.
Just get into like your methodical groove and like look for shit. Yeah.
100%. So I still enjoy a thrift, but now when I walk into a thrift, I don't expect to find one thing. I'm not upset when I walk out the doors and don't find one thing. When I do find that one piece, amazing.
Now you guys are on the next level where it's like those kids are bringing you the stuff now, right? So
yeah, and not to mention we're on the level where, as Phil said, good luck finding the pieces that we carry in the thrift.
Yeah, could spend your whole day finding 1 or 2 pieces.
I still go and just for shits and giggles, I'll go and I'll still pick a bunch of pieces that I used to pick. And then at the end of my thrift session, I'll put them all together and hang them on the rack in one spot and walk out the door.
You gotta post and be like, "Yo, there's some gems. This location."
No, I don't. I don't post. What I do is I watch the Instagram feed.
So you got it,
and I watch who picked up those pieces.
How often is it bombing?
I see a lot of people pick up those pieces. I'm not on some petty shit where I hit them up and go,
no, of course not.
I just
cool
watch.
To see.
And fact is, there's a lot of kids that are thrifting nowadays. They're not worried about the grails. They actually are pumping out like those screen printed tags, and I wouldn't say they're vintage sellers. I would say they're resellers. And there still are kids that are just looking for that $15 shirt, that $20 shirt. You know what I mean?
And if someone can make some side hustle doing that, then fucking power to them. It's great.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I wish I had that when I was that age.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So Phil, let's hear your intro to the vintage game.
Oh man, it all started like I was living in LA, and this is after I moved from Vegas. I was living in LA.
So just so everyone knows, you're born in Vegas?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Las Vegas, and then
are you American Canadian?
Yeah, I'm American. My wife is Canadian, so that was like my easy in. Yeah, she
you're a border jumper, man.
I know, man. We met in Vegas, and then she was like leaving the casino as I was, and she was with her sister, and then she kind of like hollered at me, and then we kind of just like kept in contact. She came and visited me. Went to a couple like music festivals, and then she ended up going to college there. And then right when I found out she was pregnant, I was like, we're not living in Vegas. We're moving immediately. So then, we ended up choosing, because I was in between like New York, Miami, or LA, and I was like, you can't live in New York with a newborn, because I was 23 years old when I had my daughter.
Totally.
It was crazy. So, I was like, no, there's no way, you're an idiot. You can't live in New York, like fucking
How
going
old
up
are you now?
I'm 29. I'll be 30 in February. Yeah, I'm a young buck, man.
Yeah, totally.
But
that's rad, man.
Having a kid I feel like it puts like 10 years on your life, especially when you're that young.
It definitely puts the fire under your ass to go do something.
Dude. Yeah, for sure. But then
you're right about New York. Like it's
hustle and bustle.
It's hustle bustle nonstop, man. Like compared to LA, where you can be out in like a chill vibe in 5 minutes from anywhere you are. Where New York, you're like you can't get that.
Picking in LA, though, I have to say one thing is fucking savage. Like, if you live in LA and you rely on just going to the thrifts and the bins, like, you're a G.
Yeah, no shit.
Bro, it is wild out there.
So is that where you started?
No, like, how I started, my buddy, like, because he was in my agency, we met at, like, a holiday party, and then now he does, like, wardrobe rental things. And, Yeah, so his name's Blake. He took me to the rag house actually, because he was just like going
In LA.
in LA, yeah, out in like Commerce or some shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, he took me to the rag house. So he's like, hey, I got to style the shoot, and like that's where he would go to get his stuff, like because he would go to the curated spot.
They had their own like section where they pull stuff. Okay.
Yeah, so then they have like the stylist sections and stuff like that.
Digging through trash to try to find style.
Yeah, no, he had like a little plug, and then I kind of like witnessed that for the first time, and I was like, oh shit. And then I kind of like was pressing him and soaked up some knowledge about the lingo and like how to get into rags. So then yeah, I just kind of shadowed him, and then I was just finding stuff, and then like just looking, I was like, damn, this is cool. And then he's telling me like what this stuff is worth, and I was just like, oh wow. Like I still wasn't into it, and I didn't really actually like start thrifting to make money until I moved to Canada, because I didn't have a work permit for the first year. And I was like, I need something that's not illegal that I can do and make money like on the side and be okay, you know. So then I would still go back and forth to the States, but I was like, I just didn't want to be a bum.
So you were in the process of the application, you couldn't work.
Yeah, I couldn't work.
Don't they sometimes like give you up a temporary work visa for that period?
Yeah, but I don't know what the deal was, because my lawyer submitted my paperwork and it was wrong, so I should have had it in like 6 months.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, so he didn't include my daughter's he said that my daughter was like Canadian. There was some mix up, and then I had to wait another 6 months on top of it. So I was making like an okay money to live, but I was like, I don't want to struggle or like borrow money from my wife, like any of that shit. I need to be a man and figure out what I can do.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, man, even like 3 years ago, I would go to Value Village and just fill a cart, like Tommy shit, whatever. And I've been on eBay for like 10 years. So it's
buying
like,
or selling?
Buying. Like I used to buy back in the day, like because I skated, so I would always buy like Supreme and shit. Just because it's like I was in Vegas and I liked it, and I knew like it was before it was hot, and you could just go on eBay and like kind of buy it for market value. Maybe like someone's charging an extra $10 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just like the hats and all that shit. And then yeah, I realized that like I could just go to Value Village here, and then I just started like flipping shit on Craigslist, like Facebook. And then it started evolving, like, over time, like, even
By the way, 2 underrated spots to find shit: Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist.
I shouldn't even have said anything.
We gotta throw some value at the people here.
No doubt.
You mentioned it, Craigslist. You said that's what you were copping.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think hardly anybody goes on there, but I've heard so many scores in Vancouver from Craigslist.
Oh, Kijiji.
Lately,
Don't
though?
sleep on Kijiji.
Oh, you didn't have to bring up
Oh,
Kijiji.
no.
Lately, though, you still hear have come up?
No, I mean, I don't even look, but someone will hit me and be like, yo, check out this. Usually bombing. Check out what I found on Craigslist or something. And I'm like, sick, dude. But no, continue. Yeah, continue. So you're on eBay, you're saying, buying up Supreme.
Yeah, and then, like, because when I first moved to Canada, I tried to do that, but then I realized, like, because I'm into, like, IT and computer software and stuff like that, so I went in, I got, like, a MacBook Pro from a job, because I knew I wanted to, like, get into computer science and stuff like that, but then I was like, oh, shit, I need a job, so I kind of put that on the back burner for now, but pretty sure that's going to be, like, the end game for me, because, yeah, like,
IT.
Yeah, man, I just love it. Like, I just love puzzles and shit like that. So then I figured out a way, because, like, with Supreme, these people...
I got an app idea we need to create. We're going to talk after this podcast.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, yeah, it was cool because, like, I just kind of self-taught myself a little bit, and then I learned, like, you just download Xcode, and then you can find all the source code online. Like, it's all just out there. But this wasn't source code. It's more like it's auto IT, so it's automated screen clicks. So it's like I could tell my computer to click checkout, buy, and show the exact coordinates. So I'll just look at the Supreme site, see where like add to cart is, shit like that, and then I would get my like 1 or 2 things.
So you built your own bot?
Yeah, it's super easy, man. Anyone can do it. You just have to download Auto IT and like no, not everyone. I should say
not me. Hell
not
no.
everyone, but if you put enough time into it and research it, like you can really just figure it out. It's just one of those things. But then the shit's made in Canada, and then they tax you so hard. So
you know, it's funny. I was at a factory yesterday. Side note about being made in Canada.
Yeah.
That used to make for Supreme, and they still have some dead stock.
Ooh.
But it's not. The thing is, it was so it was these jackets that they made, and they were supposed to ship them to Supreme, and then Supreme would have printed them or embroidered them, but then Supreme like flaked on the bill, so they never sent them.
Shit.
So they're like half done jackets.
Oh,
They got the Supreme tags though, and she was like, "Yeah, we made Supreme."
Do they have the sup?
That would have been sick.
Yeah,
I actually bought
through.
like 100 jackets at one point and sold them off, but
Oh, nice.
I was like, it's super hard sell a plain Supreme jacket with nothing on it.
What people spend that money so you know it's Supreme. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you could be like, it's this unreleased product and never made it to market, but yeah, a ton of it's made here. The fleece, especially, like all the sweats and shit.
Yeah, everything. And then I was just realizing it's just not worth it because of my profit margins. Like I would get some backpacks and stuff like that, but I would only be making like $50, $100, and I would just sell it on like Let Go, like immediately right after drop. Like I would get it, and then it would come like the next week or whatever, and then I'll just put it on there and sell it. And then that shit was just going too slow, and I was like,
because you can literally buy one item. Even if you have a bot, you can only get one per style.
Exactly.
So and you don't. There's only good like 5 pieces per drop that are worth reselling.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd always kind of like gauge the market on that, and then I would just like make my profit off of that. But then once I realized I could go to Value Village, and then like I found Supreme at Value Village, you know. But that was like a couple years ago when you could actually go in and fill a cart and then leave. But now like you go there, there's people there. They do shifts like 9 to 12. There's usually someone there, or like a few people there, you know. And then it's just a never-ending thing. Like you can go there and get lucky, but it's just dead out here, man. There's not enough for everyone. Like you can get lucky, but there's so many people doing it that there literally is not enough for everyone. Like you can fill a basket now if you're having a good day.
Well, especially if you're trying to run a retail
you
spot.
can't. It's so hard to do. Like
and you know what? When I first opened Loose Change, like I didn't have any wholesalers. I didn't have an in on a rag house. I was running a store by thrifting. And then, not to mention, people started bringing stuff in, slowly but surely.
So, let's get into that then. So, I was thinking about this too. There's one of the hardest thing about opening a store is like actually stocking it. Because a lot of kids will go out and think, okay, I'm going to open a shop. I have all these teas, I have all this stuff, right? You might have enough to open the store, but then it's like, how are you going to maintain that stock? If you're busy and you're actually selling product, how are you going to maintain that stock? Obviously, you found when you opened Loose Chains, it's like, now I'm in the store. I can't actually go out every day, 10 hours a day thrifting.
Yeah.
And it becomes like, well, you have to have a plan to maintain that stock from the get, instead of like thinking about it after you've opened your store, right?
Yeah, well, he had a store for a couple years, so it was like, it was kind of, we had a little insight of what was going to happen. Like we were prepared for it. We stocked it with like a ton of heat for the first couple weeks, but then we also had like 100+ teas put away. Nice. So it was just like one of those things. And then we had like, we knew that we were going to go together probably like a month after, maybe like the same month that you closed. And then we had like probably 2 months to just hunt like non-stop.
Yeah.
And then that did help a lot. And then like Brent's knowledge of having a store and like what to expect and stuff like that, like I got super lucky just kind of coasting into that, because I never had a store. Like this is my first business, you know.
Yeah. It was like when we first opened, like, and I'd forget that. Like I'd be like, oh, like telling him something, or we'd be having a chat and da-da-da, and then he'd just be like, yo, you got to remember, this is fresh for me. Like, you know, you got 2 years under your belt. Like this is fresh, and I had to take a step back and be like, oh yeah, shit, that's right. Like, you know, luckily he's a smart enough dude. Like he knew what to expect. Like Phil's put me on just as much game on different styles. Like the way Phil and I first met is I was happy with like the stuff I was bringing in. It was a lot of like, you know, B grade, let's call it, B+ grade. But for myself, I wanted the fire pieces for my personal.
Yeah.
So I was just, you know, I follow most local people, right? I always support the local community.
Did you stash a lot away from your first venture, like when you were getting stuff in?
No, I don't know. I was the exact opposite, man.
Yeah.
I don't have a collection, bro. I was trying to make rent.
Yeah, totally.
So my whole collection, like when I first started, I had a big Grizzlies collection. I don't have one Grizzlies piece anymore.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like that's what I had to do to get the people in. We're having a slow weeks, 2 weeks in a row. It's like, okay, let's hit them with the.
Got to do something,
right? So, but then I started searching the guys, and then there's this dude Filthy Finds, and he's blasting me with like Homie the Clown tees and all this stuff that I'm really into, but I would never see in Vancouver. So I hit him up and I'm like, listen, I'm gonna come by, like let's chop it up, da da da. I go to this guy's house for the first time. He set up like a little pop-up in his yard for me, man.
Not in the yard.
Yeah, man, I was trying to be professional.
That's
on
class.
it.
Yo, he had like 4 or 5 racks like set up in the yard and stuff, and he's just like, do your thing. Like he had one rolled up, we just chilled, we smoked and like
Perfect.
and chatted and pretty much hit it off the bat, right? I was really digging. But at the same time, I was like, okay, I'm going to get this shirt. How much? He's like, oh, that one's going to run you $100. And I'm like, oh, right? Like, this is when I was still selling bangers for $25 a piece,
Totally.
right? But I got it. Like, you know, I knew, like, I was more into the scene then. I knew what shirts were going for. I just wasn't prepared to charge that. And I think it was more of a scared thing for me. Like, shit, if I start charging $100 a shirt, are people going to still come to my shop?
Yeah, and it's also positioning. It's like you position yourself in one way, right?
Absolutely.
You had like good stock, you had a lot of sports, you had really good prices, and then just to switch it and be like, now I'm going to have like crazy bangers in here for high prices. Yeah, you could scare people away.
Oh, and right until the end, right before I closed the doors, it was still mostly like, yes, I bumped it up a bit, but there was really no shirts over like $50. It was going to like the 30 to 50 zone, and then I'd have this tiny little wall of like 8 shirts. And they were all at the $100 range.
Yeah.
No one touched them. The odd person would come in. You know, we'd have the Japanese collector come in and he'd grab all of them. And then I'd restock them with a few more. But the average person would not touch those shirts. Phil, like, really kind of got me on my grind. Like, yo, man, look what these things are going for. Like, you have really good taste. You've got a good eye. Like, start charging what they're worth. So I think that's where, like, that was huge for me. Right, and that's kind of when we stepped away from Loose Change and said, how would you like to do this when we open a shop? And we said, fuck it, man, bangers. And you know what? If I get it, I definitely have lost some customers from Loose Change, which pains me because Loose Change, like, I built relationships with like 80% of my customers. When you walked in, you felt like you were family.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of the neighborhood I was in. It was a lot of you know, a lower income, this and that. They've never even seen a shirt for $100. You know what I mean? Especially one with holes in it or this and that. So, I mean, it's bittersweet. Like, it sucks to lose those kind of people. But at the same time, like, this is a business. This is what I love. These are the pieces that I enjoy collecting, that I know
and
about.
the city can support it, I think, now, you know? Like, we don't really put any of that in F as a Frank. That's why I do Rose Bowl. You guys know. I think all
yeah,
the
the LA market, man, that shit is crazy. That was the one thing that helped me out, is seeing the LA market before I came here, and then I realized what these shirts were really worth and what they're selling for. And it's like, why would you? If you guys have the Rose Bowl set up, I mean, it's like one of those things. It just makes so much more sense.
I know all the dealers for certain things. Like, I can pretty much like take a shirt and be like, I know who's going to buy this from me for a really fair market price. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But then I think now it's changed so much. You know, I look at, I've talked about this before, but like before round 2 and after round 2, like 2 different time frames in the world of like hype beastdom and vintage, right?
Yeah, because they kind of put a twist on it. Like, they mixed both of them together, and
they did. Like... And then it brought vintage into the eyes of all the hype beasts.
Yeah.
And like kind of vice versa. And they've also opened stores in all these different cities now, and then brought those high prices to the smaller towns. Like, I mean, they're still big cities, but it's diverse. Like, there wasn't probably a store in Miami selling like high-priced tees and stuff like that before they opened up. And I feel like it's opened up the market. I feel like, especially with like Sean having 1 million followers and everyone sees what he's up to and all this stuff. So basically, what I'm getting at is, I think that because it's so international now, most cities can support this kind of culture.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, it's a roll of the dice though in Vancouver, because there hasn't been a place where it is, you know, you just go for those heaters. So, and we said, if, you know, I'm not looking to go backwards now. So it's like, if this place doesn't do well, Phil and I aren't going to go, okay, let's start bringing back in, let's go hit those rag connections and start bringing back in these $20 tees. I'm not into that anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So then you guys said business is good, right? People are coming in, buying shit.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how much of that is online business versus people walking through the door?
Man, a lot of it is walking through the door, to be honest. Like, I was so surprised because people were coming and buying like $200-$300 shirts, like, consistently.
Yeah.
It was just crazy, man. Like, it blew my mind that we could do that in Vancouver. And then it's just like, I don't know, it's just satisfying seeing someone's face when they like, when you tell them like the history about a tea and they're like, oh shit, this tea is worth this to me. And then you supply them with that, and it's just like, I feel like a lot of people aren't doing that. And it's hard to like...
Especially when you do educate the people on what it is.
Yeah.
And you offer that personalized experience. I think I have a theory on retail now. So much retail is going to online, of course, right? Like
yeah, we're working on the online, but yeah, it's just.
Well, I mean, I'd say do the opposite in my view, because everyone's doing the online. There's going to be like a resurgence of retail because everyone is going to be fucking fed up with shopping online. There's no personality to it. There's no like personal
relationship.
There's no relationship. You don't get to talk to the person. You don't get to feel the t-shirt. You don't get to see it. You don't get to try it on. And like you don't get to come in here and see all these fucking 90s VHSs on the wall, or your Wheaties boxes, or your starting lineups, or you know, whatever's going on in here. It's an experience, and I think there's going to be people hungry for that experience. So I say keep going with this, man.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously sell online too, but
you know what? When I opened Loose Change for the first year plus, I would not ship. I lost a lot of following because of it, and which is a good thing because most of my following is local based.
Yeah.
Which is amazing when you have a retail spot. But people just got sick of hitting me up like, "Yo, how much shipped? Sorry, we didn't ship." And in the back of my mind, the reason why I did that, I mean, I guess it was poor business.
Well, but then you got to keep the good stuff for the people that walk through the door, right?
Well, and it's just I'm a relationship guy. I mean, before I'd say I'm a vintage dealer, before any of that bullshit, I'm a relationship person. Like, I actually love chatting with the customers when they come in. I don't care if you're a tech guy, if you're a drug dealer, or if you're a 75-year-old woman. I'm gonna have a good conversation with you. I enjoy that. You know what I mean? You don't see that online. And like a lot of the times that I buy a lot online, you know, for myself or to resell, and 80% of the time it's not a nice experience.
No, the customer service with all these Instagram kids is so bad.
Always a haggle. You got to wait like 6-7 days for them to even ship your shit.
Yeah, and then you're like, you know, like you get something that's fake or fucked and it wasn't described, and then they're like, "Oh no, you're sorry, no refund."
Yeah, no, for sure. No, it was all about offering an experience. And like, what am I? I'm just listening to. You actually put me on. I was watching. You were doing a lot of audiobooks.
Oh yeah, totally.
And I live in the burbs, so I drive in and out every day. So I started getting audiobooks. So I'm just finishing up the Bobby Hundreds one.
Nice,
right?
Good
you did that one, right?
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah. And it's crazy, like how much that one hit home with me, just about how he talks about building an experience.
Yeah, building the culture around it.
You got it. Like you said, I mean, we've got all sorts of cool shit in here. Even if you come in and do not buy anything, you will hang out for a while. There is so much to look at. Same with Loose Change. We had dudes that would come in on their lunch break. They had no intention to buy anything. They wouldn't buy anything, but they just wanted a break from their cubicle.
It's like, take me back to my childhood for 10 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I have just as much satisfaction in that as I do on selling a piece.
That's super cool, man. Well, you guys have done a great job at that. I brought a present for you.
Oh.
I forgot to give it to you this at the beginning, but here it is for your wall.
Oh, the
Macarena
Macarena.
VHS.
Classic.
Hopefully.
Oh, no, that's making the wall, my man.
Hopefully you guys will learn the dance first, and then you can put it on
learn the dance.
Learn the dance.
Come on. I've known the dance, my man.
Nice.
Yeah, now it's just the struggle. It's funny, anytime I get a new VHS.
Now you're going to see it when we post our photos.
Yeah. That's the background.
Oh, yes.
It's always hard for me when we replace one, though. It's like, what's
I know. I was looking at the wall. It's pretty classic, man. There's a lot of good ones out there.
Yeah, there is some good ones. It's funny. We school the youngins on that, too. They'll come in and they'll stare at the wall, and they haven't seen, you know,
oh, for sure,
a ton of those, and I'll be like, "Yo, take a picture of that wall, go home and get your download on, man."
Seriously, if it's not on Netflix, download it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you guys met. Now you became good friends, and then your store closed, and then the idea for this store kind of was like, "Let's do it." Did the space come up before the idea for the store, or vice versa?
So what happened is my lease was up at the end of summer. It was. With Loose Change, like as far as a business, I was always in the green. You know what I mean? As far as what I was taking home to support my family was not always in the green. You know what I mean? So it was I hit the crossroad. Like, do I still want to do this? Like, you know, I've got a child at home. I've got to be realistic here. I could go get another management job and make a lot more money than what I'm doing right now. You know, point blank. You wanted to talk about running a shop, opening a shop, and you say these kids are like, yo, I'm going to open a shop. If you're doing it for the money, don't.
Yeah, no shit.
It's not like, you know, I'm breaking bread every month. But I love to do it, and again, it's quality of life.
Yeah.
Quality of life. I get to spend the time with my son. I absolutely love what I do. I love touching these pieces. I love meeting these people. Money wise, it's, hey, maybe we can get there, but we're no round two. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think, you know, going into your second venture, you probably had a lot of experiences from your first venture that you wanted to fix. Like, you guys have lower overhead now here?
Yes.
So that's huge, right?
No employees.
Remember, I had an employee before it, right? It was, you met Braz.
Yeah.
Shout out Braz, one of the best guys around. And you know what? That was dope. I got to employ one of my best friends. Like, I would never think that I would do that. You know, you asked me 5 years ago, like, would you have a shop? Would you be able to employ a friend? All of that sort of stuff. But overhead, it started to take a toll, right? So I'm just like, if I want to continue to do this, how am I going to do this? So I reached out to Phil. I was like, look, man, let's get together. He's always been about those fire pieces. That's where I was gearing towards. We kind of put our heads together and said, fuck it, let's do this.
Yeah.
You know, it is like there was no sit down for hours and write up a business plan. You know, while we're being honest.
Who does that shit? Come on.
Man. You know what? But hey, that being said, I would for people that are looking into doing, maybe the vintage game is a whole different game. There's no other retail store where you're getting messages going, what's the best you can do? There's no one calling a Foot Locker going, I like those, but if I get 2 pairs, what are you going to hook me up with? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so the vintage game is completely different.
It is completely different. You never know where your next score is going to be. You never know, like, if the picking is going to be good or bad.
Yeah, it's so
you know, like,
unpredictable.
trends come and go, well, just in fashion in general, but trends come up and go down so fast, too, that you could end up getting stuck with certain things if, like, something it gets reproed or something and the value drops.
Yeah. Man, even working, like, I've been working in fashion for 10 years. The only thing I can forecast is what color is going to be cool. Like, it doesn't apply to vintage because I get to see all the next season shit, but it's like, it doesn't apply to vintage. I'll know what color is going to be hot next season.
So let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about this. First of all, I want to mention you are a fucking badass skater.
Oh, thanks,
yeah.
G. Appreciate it.
I watch your clips. You're super good. You got to give me some clips to put on this. I'm just going to, like, either put a slideshow or I'll put some clips on the video.
Yeah, for sure.
So you learned to skate in Vegas then?
Yeah, man. We've actually, like, Vegas has some really good parks, like, professionally built, like, super nice ones. And
I mean, I guess because any town with tons of money like that, people flooding money from all over the world, they're going to have some
yeah, I mean,
right?
some of them are better than others. Like, they have indoor ones, but during the summer, it's just fucking Armageddon there. So, like, you can crack an egg and cook it on the coping. It's like 120 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, no shit.
So, yeah, skating, it's
2
like...
tricks and you're, like, drenched
yeah,
in sweat.
man, sunburn city. It's just nuts.
Fuck that.
But, yeah, no, I just grew up doing it and then, like, just surrounded myself with, like, a bunch of the kids at school that were skaters. And, yeah, then I got fucking injured and really, messed up my grind.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
but you're back at it.
Yeah, no, because
you're like hitting handrails still, and
yeah, but I didn't have, because now I have health insurance.
You're in Canada, man.
Yeah.
Roll into the hospital half dead, and you're set.
No, because like what set me back when I was living in LA, like I blew out my ankle. I blew out my ankle at one of like the little SLS parks, and then I went to the hospital. I went to Cedar Sinai because I was like by my house. Almost $3,000 for an X-ray and an air boot because I lived in LA. I didn't have health insurance the whole time I lived there. Like I was just riding off my wife and like her insurance, but I would just go to the emergency room if I had to. And yeah, it was just crazy, man. I don't usually get sick that often, so I'm like, yeah, if I break a bone, I'll take the hit because it's like. They just tax you so hard.
I just can't believe that, though. They pay so much in the States.
Yeah,
it's
man.
Like, that shit can bankrupt you from one injury.
Yeah. And anytime he talks about, like, healthcare and stuff like that, it's a reminder, like, you know, how good we do have it.
Dude, we are so lucky here. And now that you're going to be a Canadian, dude, we have it so good here. For all you Americans listening to this shit, if you can get to Canada, get here?
Marry yourself a
$37.50 a
Canadian
month.
woman.
Yeah, hunt yourself down a Canadian. But yeah, no, that's another thing, like, why I got into it, because I knew it's like you just have, it's a mental thing, like, it's all about the confidence. Like, after I took that $3,000 hit, like, I was making okay money, but it's like I haven't worked a normal 9-to-5 job in probably 10 years. You know, like, I've just never been about it, because, like, that was my life, like, from, like, 17, 18 till probably 21, I had 3 jobs. Like, I would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I wouldn't go to bed till like 11:30 or 12, and I'd wake back up at 4 o'clock in the morning and do the same shit over and over and over again.
And this was what?
This was in Las Vegas.
Yeah, but what were you doing?
I was working in logistics, so like I was because I did.
Oh, okay. So after those jobs were done, you're like,
like I would just work in like factories, because I found that job to be the most tolerable. To where like you give me a sheet, this is my shit to do for the day. Don't bother me unless I don't get it done.
Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
And
totally.
it's like it's just one of those things. So I kind of gravitated towards that, and then yeah, it was cool. Like I lived off that, but then I was just like, once I had my daughter, I was like, I don't want to work a 12-hour shift to survive. Like, fuck this. Like, there's no way. So then that's when, like, we really made the transition to LA, and then I made, like, fashion my career, because I was just like, I can get paid to get my picture taken? Fuck yeah.
Yeah, so how the fuck did that happen? So you're a model.
Yeah, my wife, like, she told me, because when we met, she was like, hey, did you, like, you could do this, because I used to be, like,
Come on, my wife tells me I
yeah.
can do it. No, not everyone.
No, it's funny. So then, like, no, like, I
wish my wife was telling me I was a model. Fuck.
No, I was on like Facebook. No, it's like Facebook or like the MySpace and modeling, some shit. I put some photos up there that she like took, and then yeah, an agency in New York reached out to me, and then yeah, they were just like, hey, do you want to come for Fashion Week? And I was like, yeah, for sure. So then they like flew me to New York, put me up in like their model house, which is fucking terrible. If you ever get into fashion, don't stay in a model house. It's like 10 dudes in like bunk beds.
Zoolander, like all I could think when he told me this.
I
just pictured Zoolander.
I'm picturing Zoolander, like where they're all hippie out,
Zoolander.
Like,
yeah.
It is, no, it's like low income housing Zoolander.
Yeah,
It's not yeah, it's not all it's cracked up to be, especially in New York, because like I lived in hostels, like had to, like, it was just
that's
a
like
whole
entry level shit.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
Like getting in the game.
Yeah.
Because there's so many models that it's a competitive thing, right? So
Oh,
there's so
man.
many people that want to do it, so they're willing to live in a shitty situation, sleeping on the floor to try to be a model.
Yeah.
Because if you make it, you're laughing.
Yeah, exactly, man. And then it was just like years. Thankfully, I had my wife to like help me. She like helped me out a lot during that shit, because I was like in New York. I would be broke, like about to fucking be on the street, and she would like wire me money so I could keep doing what I love to do. And it was just like, it was crazy, man.
So you enjoy it? You enjoy
No,
modeling?
like, yeah, when I lived in New York, like, it was fun. Now it's kind of just like, I see it as a job almost, but it's not a job, because you just show up, like, you talk with random people like all the time. You meet new people all the time, and it's just like, you're essentially showing up, standing around for fucking how many ever hours, and just getting paid top tier dollar to do pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
Besides,
So,
you know?
this is so interesting to me.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to know is modeling the side hustle, or is vintage the side hustle, or do you not differentiate?
They're both a side hustle, man, because it's like, modeling isn't all it's cracked up to be. Like, I'm not booked 5 days a week. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's downtime, there's busy times, but it's like, you cannot just survive off of that unless you're a top model living somewhere. Like, yeah, I work pretty well in Canada, but it's like, I do both of two things that I love to support myself and my family. You know, because it's like...
Well, you're the luckiest man in the world.
Yeah,
Then.
thank you, G. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just like... It's just one of those things, because not everyone knows. Like, if you don't have a kid, you don't get it, and it just makes it so much harder to go to that job and, like, know that you're not... I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like, I've just never... Maybe it's because I was exposed to it so young, and I knew, like, I can make this amount of money doing this, and I kind of just, like, ran with it.
You're over 10 years deep in modeling? No.
Yeah, almost.
Almost 10 years in modeling.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so now it's like second nature to you.
Yeah, you just go to these meetings, and it's like, that's the other thing, like, so many accumulative hours. Like, you don't get paid to go to these meetings. Like, when I was in LA, I would drive an hour sometimes to go meet with someone, and they tell you to leave right away.
Yeah, and then what, 1 out of 10 you're booking?
Yeah,
maybe?
exactly. And it's just like one of those things, but then, like, you could book a commercial and be set for the year.
Yeah.
It's just like one of those things, and that's kind of
So what kind of work are you getting at this point?
Oh, in Vancouver, it's all just like e-commerce. It's e-commerce, commercial, stuff
So
like that.
you're doing modeled clothing shoots for e-com?
Yeah, it's just their website. Like, I'm pretty much a mannequin. I go and I wear your clothes, you take a photo of it, and then I go home.
Nice. And you're still run through an agency, obviously?
Yeah, because that was the harder thing, like, because that was my plan when I moved to Vancouver. I was like, I'm just going to give an agency and do this shit. And then I got here, no, that wasn't the case. They're like, oh, no, you need a social insurance number. So I'm like, oh, fuck. And now I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then thankfully I found Value Village. And
so you're still waiting for social?
No.
Yeah,
I'm legit now. I've been legit for a minute. Now
that's fucking awesome, man. I think that's super cool. Okay, I think we should play a game. This is the game. This is how well do you know your partner? Okay?
Oh, yeah.
But one of you has to go away and somewhere where you can't hear us talking.
Just earmuffs?
Do you have it?
No, I don't think we have earmuffs.
No, I'll go. I'll step out. I'll step out.
Are you gonna go in the garden? In the back garden?
Do you want me to go to Soho? Little Soho?
I don't know. Well, you can't hear us or it defeats the purpose.
How long do you need?
Like just a couple minutes.
Now this is just so you know, before we do this, like this is why it clicks with me and Phil. Like Phil and I have known each other for about a year and a half. You know what I mean? Like it's so we're still, our relationship is blossoming every single day. So you know what, I'm looking forward to this because if we don't perform well, at least we're learning.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean?
Totally. Well, hopefully we get some right answers or maybe not.
Okay. No. That's fair enough.
We gotta play the. Okay, we're getting into the game here. This is how well do you know your partner. Okay, I'm gonna ask you 7 questions, and you gotta tell me what you think Brent would answer.
Okay.
Okay? Or not what he would answer, but what's his zodiac sign?
Oh, man. That's a tough one. Like, I barely even know my wife's zodiac sign.
Yeah, no shit. She can't listen to this now.
Oh, no, I know she's an Aries.
Okay, well, you just gotta make a guess then.
Capricorn.
All right. Would he pick a wrap tee or a mosquito head tee?
Oh, wrap tee.
Okay. What annoys you about him?
Man, I don't know. That's the reason why we click, because it's not like, I get that with most people, like I come in contact with, because you can just find that thing, but it's like, man, it's tough.
There isn't like something stands out on top of your mind that's like...
Selling shit for too cheap.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Is he a black t-shirt guy or a white t-shirt guy?
Oh, black t-shirts, man. We can't get enough black t-shirts.
Okay. BMW or Audi?
BMW. It's funny because all these, I'm the exact opposite.
Okay, we're going to do... what's his favorite artist or rapper or band?
Man, I'd probably have to say Nas or Biggie.
Okay, one more. What's his grail piece that he's yet to find?
Oh, man. He just
just
said
talking
it.
about
Yeah,
it?
just talking about it the other day. It was like an 80s cartoon. Oh, no. I think it's an adult size XL Alf t-shirt.
Right, that's so true. They all come super small.
Yeah, always small.
Okay, sweet. Go bring in your partner, and we're going to switch it out here.
All right.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, this is how we play the game. I'm going to ask you the questions I asked him and see if he got it right. And then I'm going to ask you 7 new questions about him.
All right.
Okay, what's your zodiac sign?
Oh, Aquarius.
He got it wrong. He had no idea.
We just spoke about this too.
Did you?
He's February. I'm February. We're gonna hit New York for our birthdays. So okay, let's continue.
Well, shows you how much he was listening on that combo.
Yeah.
Okay, what would he say annoys him about you?
There could be.
He had a hard time figuring this one out.
Really, eh?
Yes.
There's all sorts of things I probably annoy the shit out of him, man. I guess. I mean, I don't know what he would say. I think what I could do is I am, because I've had a store before, that I kind of took the lead on it and stuff. But
that's fair. That's a good answer, but
yeah.
that's not what he said.
Okay.
He said selling too cheap.
Oh, yeah.
But he had a hard time coming up with anything.
Yeah, well, no, definitely. But you know what? Good on him for saying that, and thank you to him for putting me into this position. So
yeah, it's super cool. It seems like you guys are a good complement to each other.
Absolutely.
So, favorite artist?
Favorite rap artist?
Yeah.
Or favorite music?
I mean, I said like rapper, band, whatever.
I don't know who.
But I'm just gonna. He went with a rapper, so.
Oh, can we? It's just because I listen to so much. He hears me listen to so much stuff. Can I get a hint? Can I get an East Coast or a West Coast?
East Coast.
East Coast. I listen to a lot of Nas.
Yep. Boom. Rap tea or mosquito head tea for you?
Rap tea.
Yes. We're checking boxes here, man. Black tea or white tea?
I'm a black tea guy.
Yes.
Phil's a white tea guy. We've had this conversation. Yeah, I'm a black tea guy.
So I got some of these questions right. So, what's a grail that you've yet to obtain?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm
going to throw out a hint. They usually come small sizes.
Oh, that's the story of my life, my man. Shit, I can't call it. I can't call it. Most of my grails are. I'm a big movie tea guy, so it would be in the movie tea thing, and I have got it.
Close. It's a TV show.
It's a TV show, huh? Oh shit! I bet you we've had this conversation too. I'm at a loss, man.
Okay, he said Alf.
Oh, he knows because yeah, good call. I found a bunch of Alfs, extra smalls, man.
Yeah.
Or 80s XL, aka extra small.
Okay, BMW versus Audi for you.
Oh, I'm a Beamer guy.
Nice. Okay, check. Okay, I'm going to ask you questions what he would say.
Okay.
Palace or Off-White?
Just from what he's moved, I'm going. It's hard. What he prefers or what he.
Yeah, what he prefers. What he wants. I don't know.
Fuck, that's a tough one. He's moved a lot of Off-White, so.
He's a model, so it might lean towards that.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna go with the Off-White.
Okay, sweet. All right. His favorite sneaker.
He's a skater, right? Like I'm a Nike cat. I'm a Jordan cat. All of that sort of stuff. Him, like. Shit, he likes just like and you know what? He's in his Zoolander stuff, right? So he'll like a Rick Owens or something. But I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with like I see him in a lot of Vans.
All right, he's wearing Vans today.
Yeah.
Would he rather go to a Little Yachty or a Metallica show?
Oh, 100% Metallica.
Okay, sweet. Okay. Would he rather go to London or the Galapagos Islands? These are just random questions.
No, they're cool questions. I'm going with like, I mean, he's a laid back cat. I think, and he's probably already modeled in London. I'm going Galapagos.
Okay, sweet. Best piece picked in the wild that he's picked.
A lot. That's tough with that's a tough one because we've both come up. You know what I mean? We've both picked a lot of things.
Is there one that always comes up in conversation that he's like would be on the top of his mind?
No, I mean like Phil put me on game with like sourcing online and stuff. You know what I mean? So as far as wild, I don't know. And then him in Vancouver, you don't come up on too many. He's definitely come up on some like. I think like his most profitable find. I think like a few months ago he came up on like 7-8 Off-White pieces. So profitable. That was a good one for him.
Okay. Okay. Then we got two more. Has he ever been hunting?
Oh. Yo, yeah, he must have been. First off, he's American, man. Like
yeah, true.
And from Nevada. And I believe that his pops, if he elaborates, I think his pops is a crazy hunter. I remember sort of like his pops will go and like set up a tent for like a week at a time.
Nice.
So he has to have hunted.
Do you know his favorite food?
His wife's got him on that vegan shit. So I don't know where. That's all I hear him talking about is plant based right now. Food. I'm gonna reach right now. A good Mexican dish, a taco or burrito.
All right, that's also another safe American bet, man.
Then again, he's Italian, man. So I mean, I don't want to jump to stereotypes, but
okay, well, we're going with that.
Okay,
bring him in. Let's see how he did.
All right, I can sit here for this one though.
Yeah, you're in for this now. You were finding scores in the street?
Oh yeah, shout out our neighbor, Far Out Vintage.
Oh yeah. Shout out the neighbor. I go in there. I was going in there before you guys opened.
Actually, you know what? A big shout out to Far Out. Serena was the one that got us into this place and stuff. So
Yeah, because she's your friend from back in the day, or
well, she just walked into the shop one day and just was kind of like, "Hey, you sell sports stuff. I don't. Want to buy?" And I was like, "Hell yeah."
Oh, nice. So you guys were doing some deals.
Yeah. She was just looking to offload some stuff that didn't necessarily fit into her store, and super cool chick, and yeah, we've done business ever since. And she told me that a place could be popping up. She told me this months and months before I was.
Was this place something else before you guys moved in?
Oh, you should have seen this place, man.
Trap house.
It was crazy.
We should almost link them with the before and after.
Oh yeah, no.
You got the photos.
Oh yeah, it's the first
Nice.
photo on our Instagram. The
sick.
transformation.
Okay, let's finish up the game.
All
Okay, what would he say is your favorite food?
Oh, I'm Italian, so hopefully spaghetti.
He said Mexican, but then he reneged and he was like, but he's Italian.
I heavily fuck with Mexican. That's probably those are
It was
probably
funny. No, I said I'm gonna go with like a burrito or a taco, and then I stopped and I go, you know what? He's Italian. So and then Drew's like, nah, we're gonna stick with that one. So we're on board.
Okay, have you ever been hunting?
Yeah, actually, my dad's a big hunter.
Okay, yeah, check mark. Best piece picked in the wild, or score in general in the wild, or like most valuable score you've ever had. Or...
Oh, either the off-white haul that I had
Check.
at Value Village.
Check.
Or, that's probably it, man.
Nice.
Shout out Grailed.
Sick. Okay, would you rather travel to London, England, or the Galapagos Islands?
Oh, London.
I thought you'd already been there.
No, I went to the airport, and then that's when the first time I quit smoking cigarettes was at Heathrow Airport, because I was trapped in there for 12 hours. So I went outside and smoked like probably 12, 13 cigarettes back to back, and then took my 10-hour flight and didn't smoke for like 9 months.
I'll do it.
Yeah, man.
Just chain smoke them until you're sick of it.
Yeah.
You been to the Galapagos before?
Never, bro. Never.
No interest?
Yeah, I would love to.
I mean, it's totally opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
you're
I mean like vintage-wise, because I want to go see Vault MCR and get some dead stock.
He's cool. We know Laddie.
Yeah.
He's a super nice guy. Have you dealt with him?
No, never.
No, I just watch. I just sit back and watch,
Yeah,
man.
there's some scores
He's
in
a
Europe,
madman.
man, and he
Yeah.
knows of it. And there's other people coming up because there's all these old rock shops that, you know, just like we have on Granville, like just an old rock shop.
Yeah.
But they just still have shit, man. Or like tattoo shops or record stores.
Which I'm really surprised because it's so much rare, like for Americana to, you know, or American-made things go over there.
Yeah, but most of those ones Laddie's getting are Europe issues or like bootleg stuff or different versions than we had.
Really?
A lot of it, yeah. Even like the rap stuff he had. We were getting a lot of the rap keys when he first was getting all that stuff, like Lauryn Hills and Puff Daddies.
Would you just source it from him from over there?
Yeah, he was just wholesale.
Because he started coming over and doing pop-ups in LA, right?
Yeah, but this was before he even ever came to
Oh, wow.
We met him the first time he came to Rose Bowl. Oh, it must have been like a couple years ago now, but super nice guy. That guy's rad. Okay, would you rather go see Lil Yachty or Metallica?
Metallica.
Boom, check. Favorite sneaker brand?
Oh, Vans.
Boom, check. Okay, Off-White or Palace? Personal preference?
Palace.
Okay, boom, he said Off-White.
No,
Okay.
to wear, I fuck with Palace because I skate. So it's like Off-White, I just love to sell it because it just moves so fast.
I think I said something along those lines. But,
Dude, you guys are tied. Four apiece.
Well,
4
man,
out of 7.
Beauty.
that's not bad.
That's pretty good.
For a blossoming relationship, man.
Totally.
That
This
shit.
is like a game you play with your wife, but we made the questions a little more.
You know what game this was?
partner-oriented.
This game. Tell me this. Do you remember the game? What was it? You'll know. There's certain things like he's not too much younger, but what I got? I got
like
7 years.
7 years, yeah.
7 years. What was the game where they sat in the race car? One brother in front of the sibling game. They sat in a little race car and they'd ask questions. Do you not know this one?
Was it like a Nickelodeon thing? Were they young?
It was more of like a YTV, I think.
Okay.
I think it was Canada based, but same thing. You'd ask the questions and then they'd come back and then you'd give the clap. No?
I don't remember, man. Vague memory of this.
Oh, well.
Sounds rad, though.
If you don't know now, you know.
Have to go look it up. Have to look that up. So I'd say you guys know each other pretty well as partners for only knowing each other for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's a good.
It's in a nutshell, man. It's I mean, where we both like. First off, I'm a sports guy. I love sports. Phil knows like a dope sports tee and shit like that, but he'll also come at me and just be like,
I'm clueless on the sports shit, man. That's where our collections complement each other so well.
Like sometimes I'll wear like a sports hat and people will be like, how about Jimmy last night in the game? And I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
No, same with him, but then you get like the skate tees or the fashion or stuff, right? Designer brands, and that's so. I mean, it was
trend forecasting with his model career.
You got it, man.
Trying. You might have a model career, man, with those sweaty gym selfies. I see you shining on Instagram.
Throw me in, coach. Throw me in.
I asked him, I'm like, yo, does your agency look for plus size models at all? Like,
oh shit.
Yeah, no, but so far so good, man. It's been pleasant. I think it's only gonna go up from here.
That's super rad. So I've had partners. Obviously now I'm partnered with my brother, which I have been for like. We started separate. We worked together, but we never everything we were finding was our own deal until we created F as in Frank in 2007. So that's like 12 years we've been partners.
Was that the Whistler store?
That was the first Whistler store. Actually, it was weird. When we first started the Whistler store, we partnered on the store, but then everything that we did outside of the store was still personal.
Really?
Until he moved here in 2009, and then we opened the store here, and then we just were like,
Where'd he
this is
move
stupid, everything's partner. He was in Toronto. He's back in Toronto now.
Like, are you originally East Coast?
Yeah, we're from Niagara-on-the-Lake, which is...
I know, yeah.
Niagara-on-the-Lake.
And then because for some reason I thought like you grew up towards like, because I know you were a snowboarder.
Yeah. So
I thought like the snowboard scene was big out there too.
Yeah, I mean, we had to travel to ride. We had to travel upstate New York because Niagara's right on the border of Buffalo, pretty much.
My parents grew up in Buffalo. That's where my parents are from, man. My mom used to hang out with O.J. Simpson when he was on the Bills. Yeah.
Dude, and what that would have been like, we had season tickets to the Bills. My dad's a huge Bills fan still, even though apparently they're having a good year. That's what I've heard. Yeah. I don't know if you guys are football fans.
Yeah, no, I am.
But from what I've heard, this is their first good year since their Super Bowl run in like the 90s when I was going to the games. But my dad had tickets for some of those games when they were
Was he going to the Super Bowl and shit?
He never went to the Super Bowl, but we would go to the season games those years. They had the best fucking tailgate parties. I'm sure like your parents ever went to Rich Stadium.
Stories.
I went to see Grateful Dead at Rich Stadium where the Bills play.
One of my favorites.
Wow, how old were you?
15.
Dope.
Maybe 14. Yeah.
Did you go with Pops?
Yeah, he took me and my bro.
Sick.
That was rad. I remember my brother like sneaking off with his buddy to go get high. But I was too young at the time, so I was stuck with my dad. But then I think my dad smoked in front of us at that show. Yeah, my dad always smoked, so he was pretty chill.
Went at a dead show.
Exactly.
And then what? So then you guys came.
So I moved out
to do Whistler. Is that where you came?
Yeah, I moved right to Whistler just to snowboard in '99, season of '99. And I lived in Whist till about 2004. Then I moved to Vancouver. So once I moved out, I never went back.
So you guys were operating the shop in Vancouver, but didn't live here?
No, the shop in Vancouver opened 2009. I lived here, but I had the shop in Whistler when I lived here, and I would just go up on the weekends because I still wanted to ride. So I would just go up, drop stock off, check in, make sure everything was cool, get a couple days on the hill, and then come back to the city and pick.
Dope.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's when I was always in Whistler partying back then, and
the carpet clubs.
That was our old little Aspen, man. Like
hanging out with the Aussies.
Oh yeah, Whistler's a great place, man. I mean, it's changed a lot.
Totally.
But Whistler is. And then when I first started following you and like getting to know your story, I didn't even know that you had the store there first. I thought F as in Frank on Maine was the first one.
Yeah.
And I was so curious, man. Sometime I gotta meet up with you. I want to see some flicks of it
Yeah, we got footage or like at least good photos of the opening party in Whistler. We used to have wicked parties there. We were young, right? So we used to like our opening party that was epic. We had a Mortal Kombat tournament party where like we had like the original Genesis and everyone's like fucking ripping rounds on that.
Breaking controllers.
Yeah, you're like, yo, my B's not working. This ain't fair, man. Those were good times. Then we used to like throw parties at Garfinkel's and like link up with the bars and do events and.
I think Joe's a partner. Was it what was that? There's a club there. Cause the first time I ever went to Whistler was for Crankworks.
Yeah, that's
and
a
it
big
was
party.
fucking mayhem. Like, I remember the first time I walked into the club and I put my foot on that carpet. It's like, oh man! If you've never been to Whistler, you'll see when you go.
Yeah. So anyway, about partners, like obviously I can do it with my brother. I've had bad experiences with other partners previous to working with my brother. I think there's like you gotta be tight with your partner, man. Yeah. I think that's super important.
Yeah, that's the best thing because we're both on the same page. Like we both have kids. We both like are about the be your own boss life, and it's just like we just mesh on a bunch of different levels, man, and it's just been working out really good.
And then it's like you give each other the space to do your own thing, but also
and it's like
take care of the responsibilities within the business.
And then there's no jealousy thing either, like because we go halves on some stuff on like the wholesale, but it's like it's a business too. It's like if we're gonna split something and only make $25, and I'd rather you take that and make that money for yourself than me be salty about like, oh, you found this. It's like it's just one of those things because not everyone's the same, and I think that's where we connect the most is on those things. Like there's no jealousy, there's no like, oh, you found this or something like that, and it's like we both have our pieces that we go in and wholesale on, and it's like those are good business decisions, and then we both have our own separate things, and it's like it just works out.
You got to look at it like if he finds a crazy piece, it's like dope, that's going to be in our store.
Yeah.
Not, oh fuck, you found a piece, you're going to make a bunch of money on it. It's what's helping our brand, what's helping our store, what's helping our customers.
Anyway, I talked to Jace about how people now like will go picking together. Like him and his homies will go out picking together.
That, bro.
And I'm like, this is so weird because back in my day, early days anyway, I would never have been like, yo, homie, you want to go pick with me because you're just gonna find the shit that I'm gonna find. Yeah, right?
Hell no. You know what? I watched that and it's. You know what? I'm still not down with it. Like I don't want to go. That's my private time. That's where I want to find my heat. But now that we have something together, so if we go on thrift trips, if we go hit Torgong, if we go see a wholesaler, it's split. We just go in. Yo, I like this piece. I like this piece. I think we can do well with this piece. It's perfect. If it's like an outside entity that we're picking up from, that's our own shit. But as far as thrift trips and if anything that someone brings into the store, whether it was a client from Loose Change or whatever, it's split. So we talked about that. At first we were like, should we split everything? And and then like it started to get a little messy, right? Because there is certain pieces that he fucks with that I'm not super into. Except he's opening my eyes to those because at first I was like, I'm not really feeling that piece. And then I watch Homeboy come in the next day like, that's the piece I've been looking for. And, vice versa. So it's dope. So we're learning from each other. But right now, no. Like, the good thing with Loose Change is I used to take Braz, who was my employee, thrifting with me. And he already knew he'd find dope pieces. And I just be like, put it in the cart. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't necessarily a big vintage head. So he was just trying to support and stuff. It is tough because I'm sorry, no matter what, like if your boy comes around the corner holding a mosquito head going, and you're holding, 2 Tommy Hilfiger shirts, you're going to feel salty.
Fucking right you are.
Right? So at least this way, if we do that, if we go out together, because it is like the companionship, the camaraderie, the company to have is dope. I do love that. We just don't want any jealousy shit in the way. So anything we go do together, it's split down the middle, man.
Yeah, and it's not like we never go to the thrift together. That's one of the things. Like if we go somewhere together, it's either for a massive buy for like a rag house or somewhere where we physically need 2 people to cover as much ground
or
as
a thrift
possible.
trip if we're out of town.
Exactly.
Like when we were in LA, go hit the bins together, like whatever, right? Then we can then we'll split it. But no, like on his days off, like he just likes to tune out, go hit the thrifts. I like to tune out, go hit the thrifts. And then, you come in and...
Makes sense.
And let's be honest, man, we're not coming in with all that much for the thrifts here anyway.
No, man. Surprised if you get any.
Yeah.
Okay, let's drop a little more info on opening a store. Like, what do you guys have? Like, was there hurdles with getting this spot open?
Yeah, man. There was quite a few.
Is getting it ready. Like, again, it looked nothing like this, right? We laugh. I think like
Did you guys bring anybody in, or was it all?
We had one contractor for maybe 5 days, bro, and then everything else was like elbow grease. And then it's just things too, like scheduling. Like my schedule fucked up a lot of that, and then we were kind of just like, in the beginning it's like one person's doing more, but then we kind of came together on it, and then that's when we really kicked everything into gear. But then there's so many hurdles. Like he filmed the video, the last thing, our fucking racks came out
This
of
is
the
a crazy
wall.
story. So
What? Oh my God.
This is a crazy story. We were the night before opening. We finally get it done. Like literally that day, we finish up at around 8 o'clock at night or something, right, Phil? Yeah. I'm like, you take off, man. I just want it peaceful, empty in here while I do our first video of like what the shop looks like. I do the video. We get it all done. I'm just about to walk out the door. This fucking shelf comes down.
Damn.
Yeah. That was, I went into fucking spaz mode, man. Like,
I know what that feels like, man. That last day before opening a store, you've worked like 15-hour days for the leading up to that. You're so burnt out, and you're just like, I just want to be done.
We had nothing left in the tank.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then, but the one, I had to look at the glass half full. Thank God it happened. Like I was on my way out the door. Of what if I had walked in opening morning, and that shit was sitting on the ground.
You're like, okay, everybody, about to open up, and then it's like rack on the ground.
Yeah. So I think the toughest thing we joke about was actually this red brick wall. That we spent 2 days with us sitting with sponges, about an inch by inch sponge.
Yeah. Fucking brutal.
I mean, for people that can't see it, this is a very porous brick wall. Insanely porous.
So we rolled it, and it didn't look how we wanted. So we had to sit there with little sponges and dab while he took the upper half, I took the lower half, but you know, everything that we did here, and we definitely argued a bit or like got into some tiffs and like had to take our breaks, but what doesn't break you makes you stronger, right?
Yeah,
so
totally.
I'm glad. Like I think if we had walked into a spot that was polished, it wouldn't have got us ready for the shop.
Yeah, man, the hurdles were wild.
And we still...
It adds a whole nother dynamic, man, when you do this. It's like, there's so much freedom in just, you know, doing the random pop-up, selling on Instagram. Maybe you have a website, but you can still literally travel and sell from your website from wherever in the world. Once you throw in, like, a store, it's like you have a home base. You have, you know, it's a physical space. You got bills now. You got, like, your rent to pay. You got to be here when people want to come by. It changes so much. It's so positive in one regard, but like you kind of like lose a bit of the freedom. And I also find it's like, keeping your overhead super low is super important because you can still get stoked on the garments. So like, are you guys still as stoked on the garments as you are having the store as you were before you had the store?
I'm more stoked on the garments now.
You're more stoked.
Yeah, bro. It's I can't wait to get something in the store.
Or not like if the store is dead, man. I'll just sit here going through the racks.
Yeah.
Which is dangerous because sometimes I'll end up taking something off the rack. I'm like,
oh,
nah,
many times.
This one's going back into the closet. We gave it a week.
Right.
But no, I'm stoked. I really do believe that we bring in pieces that
it's awesome. You have great shit
that we would wear. Like almost every piece.
Because now I have like the store in Toronto, I have the store in Vancouver, I have Frankie's shop. It's like I don't even know what's in half these stores now. You know, like my stores are way more generic grade. But what stokes me out now is to take all that wicked shit top of the line stuff that we find and take it down to Cali. And like that's when I get to like be with the clothes. For me, it's like you guys being in your store. It's like when I'm in Cali, I'm with the clothes, selling to my customers. Taking the appointments.
That's when you're in your zone.
And you
That's
get
the
to
zone.
travel to the sun.
Well, anytime I've asked you, like, you know, when you and I chatted before, and I always ask you about the bowl and shit. You always light up, man.
Yeah,
and
the bowl's great, and that it's like it's a grounding thing for me.
We gotta pop our cherry, man.
I know, bro. I've been trying.
You've never been in
I know.
LA?
I've been like shadowing my buddy who like told me about vintage. He actually had a booth there, and I was gonna sell with him because like. It was like someone was selling these blow up mattresses or some shit. It was like these things, and then they didn't show up. Yeah, and then
with him he was gonna
so the dude there, like the person he knows, some contacted the bull, and then these people just didn't show up, I guess, and then he just brought his shit out because he was like, I'm ready to go, and then ended up selling the bull, and then I was kind of there like shopping and helping. And man, that shit is so overwhelming. If you haven't been to the bowl, plan for like a good 12-hour day to see maybe a quarter of what you want to see.
There's an art to it, man, and after going for a while, okay, I'm gonna make sure I hit this booth, that booth, this booth. This guy always has like come up, so dump shit on the ground. This guy's like
the ground spots.
You're like, if you can dig and find something on the ground, you can still get a $10 come up. But then you can go to the next booth. That $10 come up is $200.
Yeah.
In the next booth right there. So it's like it's very hit or miss. You can find tons of grails, and you could get them for $5, or you could get them for full bore retail or above retail sometimes.
Yeah.
The other, I did want to ask you. I know you're always busy with the bowl on Sundays, so you don't get a chance to hit the Melrose spot.
No, I've been once. This is a funny story. I went to California to go to Rose Bowl, and I was like, me and Jesse used to only do about 8 of the Rose Bowls. Now we do 12.
You do all 12.
We do all 12. I guess 2 years ago we were like, fuck it, why are we even bothering missing? And we also got a permanent spot now, so it's way better.
Nice.
So this was before we had the permanent spot. I was like, I'm just going to go down to the Rose Bowl just to buy on a Sunday. Fly down for like a day and a night. I had some other business to take care of. I flew down, and I timed it wrong, and I showed up on the wrong Sunday. I actually drove to Rose Bowl.
The guy who's been selling there for how many years?
It was ridiculous. I drove to Rose Bowl, and I'm literally like, where is everybody? It's an empty parking lot today. So that day, I went to Melrose, and I checked it out, but that was before Melrose had its scene. That was before 1980 something was there. Like, this was a long time ago.
Yeah,
but I hear it's great. Chris loves it.
Is Melrose just like because I don't even think of it. That's the one by Fairfax, right?
It's at Fairfax High. It's in the parking lot.
Yeah, I went there, but I was with my wife, and it was like strictly furniture buying, and I never really got to go through, but.
It's a mixed bag.
Yeah,
it's like some jewelry dealers.
Yeah, it's a bunch of different things.
Vintage sellers, anything.
Yeah.
It's more like
a curated Rose Bowl.
Direct to consumer, like retail, hipster stuff. I don't know.
There'll still come ups there though?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume so. I don't know. It's not like Rose Bowl though. Like the guys who are selling there are Us Vintage, 1980 something Co. I don't know who else sells there, but there's a few other guys who know what they're doing who sell there. So the prices are probably fair, but it's not $5 tees.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll get come-ups. I don't know. No, those guys, Earthling, VIP, they sell there. You know those guys?
Those guys are dope.
Oh, yeah, you just...
I had them on the vlog.
I saw them on the vlog, yeah. No, they seem super chill, man.
They are
like
super
cool
chill.
They're
really
I like their style,
crazy
too.
stuff.
And they have the pop-up events in their house.
I know,
their house is
man.
racked. Like, it's
some dude was
super
in
cool.
from Portland
amazing.
this weekend, and he said he went by their spot and had nothing but good things to say about them. Man, they've got a really nice curated selection that hits with me. I like the shit they post a lot.
Yeah, it's rad stuff. And
Yeah.
they would be at our booth in the morning, Rose Bowl morning.
4 a.m. early bird?
Fuck yeah.
Oh,
they were one of our first
headlamp?
customers for the last like year and a half. You could count on them like running up as we're unloading boxes every time. And they buy good stuff. They buy a lot from us.
This is before they knew about the hotel or what?
Yeah, I guess we hadn't invited them to the hotel at that point. It's funny because our hotel appointments always used to be just Japanese.
Huh?
Because the business wasn't so much about T-shirts like it is now. I want to talk about that actually too, but now we're getting like, all these younger generations of kids coming for appointments and still some of the Japanese. But it's fun. This business is like the stock market. It's like it changes. It goes up and down. Different things are popular 1 minute, then they're down the next, and it's like
Travis Scott,
always
man,
morphing.
driving up those frickin' prices. It's crazy. Anytime
Well,
you
it's got to
see
be
this.
wild for someone like you that's been in it for so long to really see. Like, sure, I've got a 3-year look at it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's changed. Like, yeah, even 3 years, the prices have really, exceeded what I thought they would. But again, what he just said, it's because rappers are into it now, this and that. But like
Kanye. Thanks, Kanye.
Yeah, but I mean, it's that's one thing that I always think about. Like, you guys were doing this. Like, there must have been times where like you were trying to push shit. Like, you almost had to compromise prices.
Yeah.
Just to sell shit.
Well, I mean, dude, like this all over print Looney Tunes. That's like that would have been like in our $6 grade of like wholesale T-shirts for
Someone
for
give
many
me a time
years.
machine.
Yeah. Oh, dude, and then it's funny you say that because I look at what my dad used to have, and I'm like, give me a time machine to go back to my dad's warehouse where he had. My dad's used to have a warehouse like Torgo,
Wow,
like
amazing.
big level shit.
Where was this at? In
in
TL?
Buffalo.
Wow.
Oh, in Buffalo.
Yeah. Oh, he had a few different places. Toronto, he had some stuff. But then during my teens, it was all Buffalo. He actually had a sick...
warehouse that was in a World War II military base airport hangar, and the thing went down like 30 levels into the ground, but it was all condemned. But like me and my brother would like try to like figure out ways to like sneak down into the depth of this place. We never could get too far, but anyway, so he would have all these Gaylord bins, the huge boxes.
Yeah, the cardboard
like full of crazy shit, like epic t-shirts, like sick denim, and there would have been like half of the thing would have been like Big E's, like wool baseball jerseys where like you can't even find one wool baseball jersey now, like all these commodities where you're like, just get me back there to have like an hour pick in this warehouse.
Yeah, I remember you saying something, I think it was on a podcast about you came up on like a bunch of Adidas tracksuits or something. You would tell them like shit that you were looking for when you were a kid, and they'd be like, oh, I just found like 1,000 pounds of this.
Yeah, because we were ravers, right, in the 90s, like mid-early 90s, and everyone was rocking like the matching tracksuits, 2-piece from Europe, Adidas, and we were like, Dad, we can sell these to the ravers, and he's like, no problem, here's 1,000, yep.
Wow.
You can't find that shit anymore.
No.
But so I wanted to talk about t-shirts for a second. This business is so focused on t-shirts right now. The vintage business is like run on t-shirts.
Yeah.
You think, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which is crazy. It just seems normal right now because that's what's happening. But it wasn't always like that. Like t-shirts were one part of the big vintage business where you'd be selling denim, leather. Like leather's so dead right now. All these other commodities. Since you've been in it, has it always been t-shirts?
For me, it's always been t-shirts, but it's like, if I see a hoodie or something I know I can make money on, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm just going to leave that behind. Because it's like, you have to adapt to the climate, too. Like, we're in Vancouver. If I was in LA, I would never thrift a jacket or, like, a heavy down coat, because I'm never going to be able to fucking sell it.
Totally.
But it's like, here, even, like, the t-shirt thing is cool, because, like, t-shirts move here in Vancouver, even though it's, like, raining and shit, because everyone just loves a good t-shirt.
Yeah. But we laugh. It is tougher in Vancouver. You know
especially if it's got, like, an
amazing
amazing back print.
Someone's going to come in and spend $300 on a shirt to wear a sweatshirt, a hoodie, and a jacket over top of it. You know what I mean? Like, LA, it's definitely, like... But that's what me and this guy fuck with. Like, I live for the t-shirt. Like, I always have. Everybody needs a t-shirt. You know what I mean? As far as when we're doing wholesale off domestic buyers, it's the easiest and cheapest thing to get in.
Yeah, shipping is so good. That's why a lot of people fuck with it, because it's like, for the U.S. packet, it's like $3 to ship it.
Yeah,
right?
man.
Or something. I mean, not for us. In Canada, we pay like $9. So everybody out there who's listening to this, if you're in America and bitch about like Canadian shipping prices, please don't. And realize that we're not taking that money. That money goes to Canada Post.
Yeah.
Bastards.
Yeah, they're crooks over there. I'll be the one to say it.
But yeah, I just find it crazy how big t-shirts are. I feel like there's so many people collecting now. Like there's hordes of vintage t-shirts in everyone's closet.
Well, you just nailed it. It's collecting as well. T-shirts you can fold if you want. You can fold that into a 4x4 square. You know
so
what I mean?
This is driving the market a lot, right? As people's like collecting it, people's nostalgia for the t-shirts that are out right now, all the 90s stuff, and then into the early 2000s, it's becoming super popular. And I just want, like, obviously I love it, but I'm wondering, like, how long is it going to last, and what's going to be the next thing?
Crop tops.
Cut
Cut your t-shirt in half.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good time to be in vintage. So what do you guys think of like the state of the game in general, with like how popular it is? Like, obviously you guys are saying it's super hard to find shit in the thrift.
Yeah.
But do you find it's easier to sell things because of the hype around it now?
Oh, absolutely, man. It's like the market. You can see the market, no matter where you live, there's always going to be somewhere where you can reference what things are selling for. Even like some people just base what they buy off of what they see at round 2. Like some people that live in LA literally buy shit just so they can go resell it to round 2.
Yeah, we have pickers that come to the bowl just to go sell to round 2. And then 2 minutes later, Sean will come in the booth. And it's so funny because then you're like, that guy just is going to buy a bunch of shit to go sell to you tomorrow at your store.
That must be tough, man. That must be tough.
But he's so positive about it, and he loves it because he's like, that's the machine that he's built, where he could literally not go to the bowl and still get all that shit from the bowl because everyone's going to bring it to him the next day.
Yeah. No, and I've just like a few things that I've heard with his outlook and stuff. Like, and we kind of take that on a bit. Of course, we're here to make money and shit, but if I see a tee and I'm only going to make $20 on it, but that shit is just so hard. That's going to make someone's day, you know what I mean, in the shop. I'll cop that. I'll cop a $100 tee to make $120. I'll cop a $150 tee to charge $170 here and there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that, like you say, it makes someone happy. It keeps your grade super high, even if you're not making all that money on it. It's like
it's also marketing with a store, right?
Exactly.
I don't know if I would do that if I was an Instagram seller or whatnot, but it's just with the store, you want the best pieces you can possibly get. You know what I mean? And sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and
yeah, especially if you know it's a hot piece, it's going to sell. It's a guarantee, or close to a guarantee sell. It's get it for a less profit margin. Because you think too, if you're buying a tee for $100, you're selling for $140. It's like that's only like a 30% markup or something, right? But then you're still making more money than buying a $5 tee and selling it for $20.
That was
it's more money invested.
The amount of work too, man. Like that's the thing. Like the amount that you can make. Like say you buy a T-shirt for $50, you go and resell it for $150. Like that's people do that shit all the time. Like even people find shirts at the bins for $1 and sell them for $100. You know what I'm saying? But they're there like from open to close. It's not like. So there's other things that vary, but yeah, man, I would rather sell one T-shirt, make $100 profit, than ship out 10 T-shirts and make $10 a shirt.
Yeah, totally.
That's how I look at it, because I'd rather
10
just
times
like
the work.
Yeah, man, shipping, dealing with all those people, especially like online people. There's some wild ones on eBay, man. It is crazy the shit that people say sometimes.
eBay is the Wild West, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Tell us about your upcoming Halloween plans. Oh
man, is this gonna be out before? Is this gonna be out before Halloween? Maybe this weekend.
When are you guys dropping the plan?
We're
tomorrow.
No. We're dropping it. We're dropping it Saturday. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fuck yeah, man. I don't even. All I gotta do is cut a couple things out.
Word.
I spend 0 time on editing. That's why I can get all this shit done.
Beautiful. Yeah. No. I mean, even probably like right when we first started opening, a big goal of ours with this place too is just because of the vibe in here and stuff, we'd like to start doing some more installations, some more features, things like that. It was like, you know, Halloween's next around the corner. And everyone loves a good spooky tea. Let's be honest, man. So we've been on the hunt for the last month and a half to just get some.
Yeah, it's been about a month and a half, because once everyone sees these teas, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, we just found all these teas at once. Like, no, it took a minute to find all these, you know, like we found 20 plus.
And it's tough not to post them,
I
too.
know,
like, when
man,
you
that's
get
the
your
worst
hands on
thing.
these things, it's just like...
Oh, just to have it. Yeah, but we've been hoarding them. So, yeah, this weekend we're going to do a nice little Halloween installation. They'll be for sale on Saturday and Sunday.
Can you leak a couple of your favorites?
Oh, yeah, we're going to show you, for sure.
We'll leak a few. Oh, definitely. We'll drop them right now. We got...
We got about 5 Crypt Keepers.
We got 5. Yeah, we got a bunch of Crypt Keepers. Got some Chuckies. Got some Freddies.
Beetlejuice.
My favorite. I'm gonna let you know right now. He wasn't up on game. You might be, man. You know Dr. Giggles?
No,
oh,
dude.
Man. Do yourself a
Dr.
favor.
Giggles.
Dr. Giggles, man. People listening, man. If do yourself a favor, watch Dr. Giggles.
I'm watching it tonight.
Yeah. You know what? Then again, I watched them when I was 10 years old, so it might not hold up to a grown-ass man the way it did to a 10-year-old boy, but that was a really dope shirt, and yeah, man, it's just fun to start to be able to focus on projects like this. Like with Loose Change, it was just go, put out whatever you got. Here, it's take your time, man.
More curated drops and
absolutely
interesting stuff, yeah.
You got it.
That is cool. I think we're good. That's an hour and a half.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Good chat.
Great chat, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming by, man.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Really
if you're
appreciate
in Vancouver, come in to Gastown Vintage. Open Thursday to Sunday.
12 to 6.
12 to 6. Follow these guys on Instagram.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
If the bell's not there, we're not there.
Or Crackhead just grabbed it on the way back.
Yeah.
So yeah, we gotta figure out something on that one.
We got the bell lockbox coming.
I appreciate everybody listening to the podcast. There's been some great reviews. So if you like it, please leave a review, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.